What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Martin, and today I'm taking over because Max is ill. We have awful weather, and today was the only kind of acceptable day to do a review with the new BMW X3M competition. Now, this day is far from perfect because we have kind of a storm going on right now. So it's going to be tricky hitting top speed on the Autobahn because we have the M drivers package today, which means we can do 285. If we should do that, that's another thing. But let's talk about this LCI, which is BMW language for a facelift, an update. So the front is completely new. We have new headlight units, new grille design, new bumper design, and it's less roundish than the pre-LCI and more like a square look. It kind of reminds me of Duplo or Legos, something like that, having those contrasting colors and those really angular lines. I like it. I think it's a great update because the front is not the best thing about the pre-LCI X3M. Now we have these 21-inch wheels. As standard, they come on 20-inch wheels, so you can get an X3M and the X3M competition. The difference is power, of course, 480 for the non-comp, and the competition gets 510, but also the suspension is different. And with the pre-LCI, I preferred the non-competition because it was a lot more comfortable, and the competition was just way too hard. It was rock hard, it was unbearable, it was awful. So let's hope they fixed the suspension with the LCI. So we have a Nardo grey car today. I think it's Nardo grey. It's a BMW individual color, so you have to pay a big extra for it. Now, at the rear, we have this new tail light design, which is again more angular, more beefy. It's a more menacing looking car in total, and especially in this color, I really do like it. Now we have these Sport Contact 6 tires, 6th generation of Continental Sport Contact 6. Now I still, after 6 generations, still don't like them. Especially when you launch the car, it's bogging down, it's skipping, it's hipping, it's hopping. I don't know why they just put PS4S's on this, like with the M3 competition. Which this kind of is, right? An M3 competition SUV edition, you could call it that. Now here we have the S58 Gen 2 engine. The previous X3M had the phase 1. It was the first car to have the S58 engine. The one in the M3 was stronger. And this is now the unit you get in the M3, which is different because it has a forged crankshaft and a 3D printed cylinder head, which means it runs 50 Newton meters more torque and it's faster. Quite a lot faster actually, because 0 to 100 went down from 4.1 seconds to 3.8. Oh, this is a fun fact. With the M3, you cannot get a carbon fiber strut brace like you got with the F82. But with the X3 and X4M competition, you can now get a carbon fiber strut brace as an optional extra. And you cannot get this on an M3, which is really weird. What's also weird is that we have steel brakes and there's no option for carbon ceramics, even though this is much heavier than an M3, which is offered with carbon ceramic brakes, which I think is kind of a shame, because this is like the ultimate winter holiday cruiser on the Autobahn. 200 plus 1000 kilometers to your holiday destination. But these brakes won't last probably if you really go for it. Now, I also think that this competition, oh my god, don't order the gesture control. It's absolutely horrible. I think this X3M is actually quite track worthy. If you would buy this, are you joking? I'm going to keep my hands here. If you buy this, you will enjoy it on the track if you bring it there. And the only downside is that you don't have carbon ceramic brakes, so it won't last 5 laps. Probably, if you really push it. Okay, let's just get driving. I'm going to select M2. I'm going to show you guys what that actually means. We have the engine in Sport Plus, suspension in Comfort. Leave it in Comfort. You don't need Sport, and you definitely don't need Sport Plus. Steering, Comfort, and the MX drive system in 4-wheel drive Sport, which means it sends more power to the rear, making it more entertaining, and it just feels nicer that way. What we don't have is 2-wheel drive mode like you get with an M3. BMW just don't want their SUVs to be completely rear wheel driven, apparently. And with an M3, for instance, you also have the 10-stage ESP mode, which you don't get in this car either. And what you also don't get is these optional carbon flappy paddles, which is kind of weird because these paddles are the same as with a 20D. What you also don't get as an option is carbon seats, the super sporty bucket seats, which you might think, yeah, that's not an SUV-ish thing to do, having carbon fiber super sporty seats, but with the Stelvio Q you do get them as an option. With AMG offers the AMG Super Sport seats in the GLC 63S, and Jaguar also has super sporty bucket seats in the F-Pace SVR. So yeah, why not just offer them? Okay, that was it with the complaining. Now let's get driving. Let's go for M mode. Oh yes. Now we have, you could hear the tire like scratching the road. It's quite a terrible tire, I have to say. It's really bringing down the car. It's the Achilles heel of this car. I'm not sure if you get the 20-inch rims, if you get a different tire, or if this car comes on many different tires like with the M3, which is basically offered with P0s or Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, and us M3 owners, GAT owners, call it the tire lottery. So I have lost the tire lottery when I got my car because I got the P0s and not the Michelins. Okay, let's try out launch control. Now the top speed is the top speed, you know, at the top is kilometers an hour. This is miles an hour for our friends overseas. Yeah, hoppity hop, and there we go. I mean, it's a terrible launch. It's terrible. It really struggles, and it never really has a nice launch. It's always this struggling for traction, and oh, it's not very nice. You get a lot of hits through the engine, through the drivetrain, and through the wheels. It's it's a bit of a cringy thing to do, but it will do the 3.8 claim by BMW. So if you put, oh my god, come on BMW, just quit the gesture control. No one likes it. Absolutely no one. Whew. Okay, where was I? Yeah, these tires are ruining this car. It would be faster with a set of decent tires, and maybe a recalibration of the launch control and the xDrive system. It would do 3.5, something like that, but maybe BMW isn't too pleased if it would do that, because it's so fast, this car, that Big Brother X3M competition has its work cut out for it if it wants to beat this car, which maybe in a straight line it will, but when it comes to dynamics, this is a lot better. And I have to say, this LCI competition, they have really sorted out the suspension, because as I said, the last one, the pre-LCI competition, that car was undrivable. It was rock hard. And this is pretty compliant actually in comfort mode, and in comfort it's superb. Okay, let's hit the Autobahn, put it in drive, and then the third fastest setting. Now we are going to have a bit of a headwind because we are driving to the west and wind is coming from the west. So it's going to be quite tricky, I guess. Jesus Christ! Are you trying to kill me? Okay, so I'm careful overtaking people because of that wind, because I might do a lane hop. Here we go. Now I have a very nice head-up display, which I always really like with these M's. Woohoo! It is windy. That's 250. Jesus. It really grabs a hold of the car, the wind. Maybe we just have to turn around. But before we do so, let's talk performance. 100 to 200, it was half a second quicker than the pre-LCI. So that's really impressive. You do really feel it actually. And if you think, well, that might be just a coincidence, you know, maybe this is a really good specimen and the pre-LCI wasn't. Well, if you look at the 0 to 250 result, it was nearly 3 seconds quicker than the pre-LCI. That's amazing. It really is a very quick car, and I'm really impressed with the performance of the car and the way it feels. It's quite a overwhelming car in terms of performance, which is a good thing, but it isn't as aggressive as a Stelvio Q. It isn't as refined as a Porsche Macan Turbo. It isn't as hilarious as a Mercedes AMG GLC 63S. And it's not as unique as an F-Pace SVR. What it is though is the best overall. I really do think so, because this thing will do anything. It will do track driving, it will do Autobahn runs, it will take your kids to school, it will pull you through the woods with the dogs in the back. It's really a very good car. And actually a lot better than the LCI, with just super small changes that in total become significantly better. So on the interior we have a new display like with the M3, replacing the old digital display. We have a new screen right here. We now have an illuminated logo in the seat and electrically adjustable headrest, and just small little curves and changes and stuff like that, you know. Not really all that interesting, but overall it is a nicer interior than it was. Yeah, the sound. What it also got is the M3's new sound design, so the fake sound design. So you get these massive bangs, especially on the upshift, with a burble at the end of it. I think it's a bit too loud, and if you're in like normal mode, it's still there on the background, and it's a bit annoying, to be honest. Look at this thing move. It's really, really impressive. Yeah, I'm not going to overtake this truck, because as you can see, it is a handful with this storm going on. So the performance really has increased. The straight line performance is insane. You can really feel the extra torque. Well, I'll show you the extra torque. Let's use 5th gear, 80 kilometers an hour. There we go. Flooring it. Yeah, it's picking up. Picking up. So that's 5th gear nearly entirely, and wow, that's impressive, right? Okay, let's do one in 6th from like 110. There we go. It is a very, very strong engine, this. Again, not going to overtake, but I think that was a great example of the increased torque with this car. I complain a lot about the steel brakes on this car, but they are actually really, really good. They have a very nice feel to them, and well, I haven't had any fading going on today. Because of the weather, I haven't been pushing it at 100%. So what I still don't like, same as with the M3 competition, is the gearbox, because this is the ZF 8-speed and it's like it's a 7, you know. It's fine, it's adequate, it's acceptable, it's good, but it's not great or superb like Alfa's version of the ZF 8-speed. They did a much better job making it feel like a DCT, because the upshift, the downshift, it's fast, but you don't feel any of the mechanical stuff going on, and it's a bit underwhelming even though it's fast. So that was it for this POV review. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button right here. You can check out this review of a crazy tuned X3M competition, or check out this POV reviews playlist.